I'm Ioana Covei. I'm the president of the Romanian Association for Debate, Oratory and Rhetoric. I've been doing debate for about 17 years, and I've been a debate coach, trainer, organizer, and a debater myself. And I also went to competitions, which was fun.
Hi, I'm Roxana Marin. I am a teacher of English and Gender Studies at Coșbu Bilingual in Bucharest.
Debate starts with a topic, which is phrased as a statement. And regardless of your personal opinion about that subject, you need to support one or the other position regarding that topic. So for example, whether or not school uniforms should be mandatory in high school, or whether or not the UN Security Council should be disbanded. Those are the sort of things that you might debate. As you can see, it's a very wide array of topics. And then you have teams of 2 or 3 people. The format that is most largely practiced is a 3-person format. You have to prepare arguments for a position and then be ready to support that position in a match. So it's 3 against 3, and they have the opportunity to respond to one another, but also to bring their own arguments. And that, in short, is a debate match. It should last no more than 50 minutes.
I guess community is the key word for me in all the extracurriculars that I do. Unfortunately, the formal system of education does not always foster a sense of community and solidarity among participants. And as a person that, as a student, suffered from different discriminations and bullying, and then as a young teacher, I was subjected to the same as a Roma queer woman. I was always in search of activities that could foster a sense of community and solidarity, especially among minority people like myself. But then I realized that in a community such as the debate community, being the minority or the majority doesn't matter anymore, because that's exactly what debate is best for.
You need to have someone who coordinates and who teaches debate to students, be they high school students, college students. We have some middle school clubs as well. And what happens is that they meet usually weekly, sometimes bi-monthly in some cases. And for, let's say, 2 or 3 hours during the weekend, they'll work on exercises to develop their critical thinking abilities. They'll learn things like, for example, what logical fallacies are and how you can identify them. But they'll also practice a lot. So you can have debate matches. You can have debate matches between the members of your own club, but you can also have friendly matches with other debate clubs, with students of other debate clubs.
I think sometimes our rationality is overshadowed by our feelings, especially when we experience like intense feelings of frustration, oppression, etc. And I learned, as a lot of my students have learned as well, that sometimes having good skills, building arguments and presenting them works a lot more in your favor than voicing anger and frustration in the face of oppression or injustice.
Firstly, public speaking. To be able to express yourself clearly is very difficult, and you might be your intention might be very different from the effect, from what the person that listens to you understands. Debate helps you make that distance, shorten that distance to an extent. Be clearer, be more persuasive. Secondly, it makes you a better critical thinker. It's very important to be able to ask yourself why and identify, again, weak spots in arguments, your own arguments, someone else's arguments. Both of these are very important. It's how you become, again, a more mature person, a better citizen, all of these things.
Oh, they're still very nervous. And to be honest, I'm still very nervous too when I speak in front of a new group, when I deliver a training to a completely new group, for example, or I speak in front of a large audience. And I think it's normal and it's always going to be there. The trick is that You just get better at controlling it with time. You still get butterflies in your stomach in a bad way, not in a good way. But debate and public speaking, any kind of training like this, just teaches you how to cover it up better.
I've spoken to some associations that work especially with kids that are from disadvantaged backgrounds. And for those that do debate, what those associations say is that the kids, when they talk about debate, they say, I've never been asked my opinion. And with debate, I got to speak my mind. I got to, again, go through this process of creating arguments. And I feel, my self-esteem has grown. And this is actually something very important because I think in debate, we often talk about debate as an elite sport. But in practice, debate has been used to work with students that were not very engaged in school. They were not performing very well academically. But through debate, they again got a bit more self-confidence, maybe became interested in different topics through debate, and then did a bit better in school, right? So their academic performance also improved.
Other alumni who have made me proud with their achievements, going on to become, presidents and directors of important associations or CEOs of important corporations. I mean, you see that a lot with your debate alumni. It's like really, and also there's a fun fact that I just want to put out there. It's not just for professions like, political scientists or law professionals or anything to do with like discourse management that debate is useful for talking about future careers. One of the most interesting times in my life as a teacher was when a former student of mine, who's an IT professional, we met again like years after they had finished, and we're just having a chat, and he said, I owe you my first job in IT. And I said, why? And he said, well, because when I went for my first interview with this IT corporation, I don't know what it was, Oracle, one of those, whatever, like a big one. He was a newbie, right? He was at entry level. And the person, back then, they didn't recruit people via these recruitment agencies. They used to recruit directly, like the companies would hire people directly. This was like 2000, very little. And the person that interviewed them said, I'm going to hire you because it says debate and public speaking in your resume, and I need a team leader that can explain things clearly to people and make good presentations. The set of skills you develop will come in handy no matter what you do with the rest of your professional life. A lot of our former students who were in the debate club went on to be volunteers or even found their own organizations and work with minority groups or work on educational projects. Some of them went into politics. There's a lot of community engagement that comes with being a debater.
We have debate topics that we call motions, and we call them motions because debate is inspired by sort of parliamentary debate, where you would have in parliament, opposition, a government side, an opposition side, and they debate on certain motions. I think it's essential to democracy to have the instruments to verbalize and then also, let's say, examine the sort of things that we, propose in society to make change. Well, firstly, because you might change your mind. You might realize that actually people that you couldn't stand before actually have a point, or at least, have a more nuanced position regarding a certain topic. And I think it's also an exercise that helps you become a more critical thinker in general, right? Regarding your own beliefs, regarding messages you see in the media, regarding, how you interact and what your value system is. I think those are the sort of benefits that you get by debating. Well,
kids, they'll just take it over. And like all you have to do is just be there and make sure that everybody is like understanding the legal requirements of different settings, and the parents are in on it, and they understand, everybody understands what's going on. But as far as like how much work you actually have to do, it's very little. It's one one of the best extracurricular for a teacher to do because it requires the least amount of work and the greatest amount of satisfaction.